That that was perfect timing. The sun literally just peeked out of the sky. Hello, everybody. Cliff Ravenscraft here. I am out for. Oh, you know what? I didn't set my timer. I apologize in advance, by the way, for the shaky cam. Let me start my walk for my physical activity. Anyway, I'm out for a walk here during my personal, creative, working retreat. This is my second of my third week, 3 weeks, second of my 3 weeks. And this is week 2, day 6. I have had a lot of creative flow in the last 2 or 3 days. There was a little bit of creative resistance. I don't know if that's an actual phrase that I would truly use to describe it, but I just felt like it got a slow start, if you will, to the flow of creativity, the flow of ideas. I came in to this retreat with some reflections of things that I already wanted to hopefully accomplish while I was down here. And I think one of the problems is having a preconceived idea of what I might already do based upon the ways that I was thinking before I came down. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm glad that I had the ideas that I had before I came down here. Yet, I will say that when everything didn't meet those expectations, when the pace of life down here has been so much more relaxed, slower, and that option is available to me, I'm like, all of these things that I say I want to do when I get back and I want to implement these, those are in my typical, normal, standard working environments where I have unlimited access to the internet. I have all of the high value, super high resolution tools, techniques, technologies, everything at my disposal. And for some reason, I'm like, hey, I'm going to definitely get a jump start on these new things when I am down in the Smokies. I mean, all I need is my laptop. I got the Starlink Mini. I will have access. I will be able to do these things. And I pretty much brought everything that I would need. The only thing I chose not to bring was I think it's like a 40-inch I think it's a 40-inch ultra wide LG 5K monitor, or is it anyway, it doesn't matter. It's an ultra wide amazing monitor that I would typically operate from at home. And I was thinking, that's really the only thing that I won't have is that screen real estate. Well, I certainly ran into limitations with internet access with the Starlink Mini, not definitely as reliable for uninterrupted internet access. However, I'm streaming to you live right now, supposedly in HD, super shaky cam here style, but I am streaming to you live via a super high speed 5G internet connection. Yet, this internet connection is directly to my phone. I use T-Mobile. I have an unlimited data plan, which is nice. But that unlimited data plan says a couple of things. Number one, you got a 5G or 5 gigabyte limit on the amount of data that you can share via hotspot to your laptop or any other device that you have. I'm going to switch hands here. So I burned through that week 1 And I figured that wasn't going to be a big deal because I had the Starlink Mini. Well, the Starlink Mini isn't allowing me to have a completely uninterrupted, unpaused audio, glitched video from time to time during my Zoom calls for my one-on-one coaching conversations and for my mastermind group and group coaching program. So that's why I burned through those things. And of course, I immediately did my hotspot to my laptop and hosted perfect Zoom calls. But then I burned through my 5 GB of data. Now, T-Mobile does make a home internet system that you can buy, one of those modems that, or one of those things that you put in your home. It's basically a in-home situation that you could have for internet connectivity. And that might be something that I look at for the next time I come down for an extended stay, not just on a personal retreat, but I think Stephanie and I have plans that we might possibly come down for a couple of weeks at a time throughout the year, each year, because why not if it's available? And the answer would be, why not? Because the technology's not there for me to be able to do what I want to do uninterrupted. So finding solutions. Anyway, one of the things that occurred to me is like, okay, well, I could just host my Zoom calls on my iPhone. So even though my hotspot is limited to 5 GB, my phone data plan is unlimited data. Now, even with that, you've got to read the small print. And the small print basically says, hey, you get 50 GB each month of unfiltered, un, un, no limitations for the first 50 GB. If you go over 50 GB, here's what we want you to know. You'll still have unlimited data, but you may experience slower speeds in congested areas. And I've noticed that a handful of times. It's very rare that I've gone over 50 GB in a single month, but I've been on enough trips to have that happen. And one of the things that I have noticed is that if I go into a city where there's a sporting event or a big concert and lots of people are accessing the same cell tower as I am, yeah, I get degraded experience. I would not be able to do this HD live stream that I'm doing right now. By the way, Marco is here. He says, hey, Cliff, best wishes for the new year. Thank you so much, Marco. I appreciate that. Comment comes in from YouTube. By the way, if any of you are watching, feel free to comment. I would love to hear if anybody's on LinkedIn. I know I tried this the other day when I was actually broadcasting, streaming from my laptop using Ecamm Live on, well, let's just say last week. I don't know what day of the week it is. I barely know what day of the week it is right here, right now. I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday. I do have a coaching call at 1 o'clock today. I have a group coaching program at 3:30. So because of those two things, I know what day it is. By the way, look at that right there. Do you see that? Those are the mountains that I get to look at. Those are the foothills of the Smoky Mountains, the Smoky Mountain National Forest. It is absolutely stunning and gorgeous. Anyway, so if anybody's on LinkedIn, feel free to comment. And I'd love to see and remind myself, I'm pretty sure LinkedIn comments actually do work on StreamYard. Of course, if you're on Facebook as well, feel free to say hello. I would love to respond to your comment here live. It's below freezing, by the way. It's, I think, 26 or 27 degrees Fahrenheit, literally below freezing. But I'm out here because, well, I have this beautiful scenery outside available to me. And I do have in my parents' lake house, I've got all sorts of notifications coming in. Let me see if I can put this in do not disturb. focus. Do not disturb. There we go. That should help stop some of those notifications coming in on my phone. But I have my parents' lake house down here, and they have a treadmill and they have an elliptical. And for the first few days of the first week that I was down here, that was what I used for my daily physical activity. I'm inside a room that has no windows, and I'm working out watching Netflix, streaming via my Starlink Mini internet, which is fine for that. Just doesn't do great live streams or Zoom calls. So, anyway, I'm like, I want to do physical activity outside. If I don't have access to my gym, if I'm not driving to the gym, hanging out with all the other people that I love hanging out with and seeing in the same environment as my gym at home, I want to experience something better than just in a closed up room with a treadmill. Now, don't get me wrong, if it was raining and everything like that, heck yeah, I will default back to the treadmill. But I don't care if it's freezing cold. Even if there was, maybe if it was ice, I wouldn't be out here. Like if it was slick ice. But even if it was an inch or two or three of snow, I'd probably still be out here walking. I do have my hiking shoes in the car, the ones that are waterproof, so that would be fine. I do have a hoodie on. I don't have a hoodie covering my head right now because I don't feel like it's needed right now. I got my winter coat on over my hoodie. I did not, however, bring anything to cover up these hands. Whoo, it's chilly out here. But I was thinking, man, one of the insights and inspirations that came to me that would not have come had I not come down here. Here comes a truck delivering some construction materials for a house that's being built back there. Anyway, this would not have occurred to me. But okay, so I had already decided that one of the things that I want to include in what I call my seed planting strategy. And what is the seed planting strategy? A planting strategy is a method of growing your business by investing in things that will build relationships over time. And for me, that is creating content that people will gain value from, that builds rapport and trust. They come to know, like, and trust you. They really are benefiting from your content. It's email, newsletter communications, connections, just reaching out to people via email, comments on other people's posts, replying to their email newsletters, listening to their podcast, sending them feedback, just encouraging notes, direct messages on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. Those are every single time I have a conversational exchange with one other human being, those are seeds planted. Now, of course, I did mention email newsletter. Like I could send out a broadcast message and I could send out a podcast episode is broadcasted out to people. So it's a large group of people, one to many. But specifically, it's the one to many, the one to one. And then I even already had the idea of doing what's called connect calls. These are 20 to 30 minute conversations on a one-on-one conversation with another person, not necessarily a coaching experience, but just a connect call, a genuine relational, hey, what's going on in your world? Let's touch base and just talk about what we're excited about. What's going on? What are we most excited about going after? Maybe, just maybe somebody mentions an obstacle that's in their way or something they're struggling with. And if that comes up organically, then that might lead to an invitation into a complimentary coaching experience, which could end up showing people the power of what I have to offer as a coach, which could possibly lead into a proposal, which could possibly lead into a paid client, all of that stuff. I just know these things happen, but yet without the actual transactional having any expectation or being attached to any certain outcome from any of these. It's just being more intentional about being in relationship, being in contact with other people. And so that's something I already knew I was going to implement. I came down saying, you know what, I've got all of my content kind of dialed in. I know how many episodes. I know I'm going to do an episode of the Cliff Ravenscraft Show every week. I know Stephanie and I are going to do an episode of Building a Life and Business Together every week. I know that I know that I'm going to write emails to my email list 1, 2, or 3 times a week. I know I'm going to syndicate that content now to LinkedIn email newsletter or the LinkedIn newsletter. I know that I'm going to make posts on social media. I know that I'm going to show up with a Instagram/Facebook story, one of those, the vertical video kinds that it's just little 60-second clips at a time. I already knew I was going to do all of that. But when I came down, I had the idea. It's like, you know what? I want to also make sure that I'm doing at least 5 connections, whether that be email exchanges or social media connections, like direct message back and forth with somebody. At least 5 of those a day, every day, 7 days a week. I already knew I was going to implement that. I knew that I wanted to have a minimum, bare minimum of 4 20 to 30 minute connect conversations by invitation only with people. And so I'd already planned on that. And I knew that I wanted to always have, also wanted to commit to, I will always have a minimum of 4 complimentary coaching experiences with somebody who is either a potential client or may be somebody who could connect me to a potential coaching client. So I came with those insights and inspirations already, methods of tracking them and creating the technical resources and processes were was among the things that I had determined I would do while I was down here. And I've been working on those. With a bit of a challenge, implementing and staying consistent with all of those things, such as, I think before I came down, I said, I will do two live streams a week, every week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Well, since then, I've made the decision just today, this morning, I'm going to continue to do live streams, more very personal live streams, kind of reflections like this. This is what I'm calling, wow, I'm walking up this hill. I guess you can see that there's a bit of an incline here, but I'm walking up a hill. But yeah, I used to do something called reflections from the front seat. And I want to get back to that. Kind of the idea of my daily vlog, but less of the, hey, let me do a lot of film and editing and all of that stuff, as much as kind of, hey, let me just give you a glimpse into what's going on in my world. And let me have an opportunity to connect with you. By the way, so far, I do not see any other comments. So let's see here. So, yeah, so Marco's was the last one that I see here. Now okay, there we go. But yeah, if anybody wants to comment, feel free to comment. So I already knew I was going to do this, but then I got down here with the internet connectivity. And then I got down here with the idea that I was just going to cancel StreamYard, because why have this really high-end StreamYard account when I could actually have my lifetime built-in forever discount and a very low fee for Ecamm Live on my laptop? I'll just stream from my laptop. Well, that's great if Starlink MIDI had no glitches and all that stuff. Although, to be fair to Starlink, my last live stream was fully on Starlink and it did pretty well. 3 or 4 spots. The image kind of got pixelated a little bit. Totally acceptable. Totally acceptable. However, if I would do it on this 5G connection, I mean, right now, if I did a speed test on my phone right here, I'm at 700 megabits per second down and about, I think, 80 megabits per second up. Perfectly fine for live streaming. But again, limitation on how many Zoom calls I can do. And this is a working retreat. So then I'm like, okay, I definitely want to continue to do live streams, and not just because of my limitations here, but with some of the other things that I'm feeling inspired to implement. I don't know that I want to commit to doing 2 live streams a week. Let's go with 1 live stream a week. And without saying it has to be Tuesdays and Thursdays, let me just choose anywhere, Monday through Sunday, just wherever it goes. Now, I may choose a day and be consistent with it at some point if that's something I choose to do. But right now, it's once a week. And right here, right now, is that week. Here is what would not have happened. So I have a minimum of 5 connections per day, a minimum of 4 connect calls per week, and a minimum of 4 complimentary coaching experience per week. The connect calls and the coaching experiences by invitation only. So the connect calls, in my mind, before coming here, those are me sitting at my desk in my studio, doing those things like in the same environment that I would do a coaching call or leading a group coaching session or a paid mastermind group. That same video environment. But then I came down here, and because of my internet connection, experiences, I chose to reach out to the guys in my mastermind group, and I said, "Hey, would you like to have?" I said individually, one on one to them. I'm just looking at what's going on up in the woods up there. Anyway, I reached out to them individually, one by one, and oh, here's the comment. Look at this. Let's see if Lou says, "Has your creative retreat been as creative as you've hoped? Would you do one again? What would you do differently?" So Lou, uh, the first question, has it been as creative as I'd hoped? Yes, it's different than what I had hoped. And in many ways, it's much better than I had hoped. And it took longer to kick in the creative inspiration side than I had anticipated. Like, I really feel like the creativity began to flow about 2 or 3 days ago in a pretty profound way. And I'm on day 6 of week 2. So that's the first answer to your question. Has it been as creative as you had hoped? Beyond. The second question is, would you do one again? Yes. And I would say at least one per year. And I would say at least annually. Now, would I go away for 3 weeks each time? I don't know, because now I'm addressing what would I do differently. I don't know if I would go away for 3 weeks, but certainly 2 seems to be incredibly powerful. By the way, the first 4 days of my retreat, I was not alone. So I really believe that whatever I experienced 3 days ago might have happened 4 days earlier if I were alone that whole time. Don't get me wrong, the people I was with and what I was doing the first 4 days, it was absolutely perfect. And I'm glad that I had those experiences. I have never seen this before. Well, I've probably seen it. I just never paid attention to it before. Look at this. I wonder. I don't see a sign that says posted no trespassing. Could you, could you make the assumption maybe that this right here is maybe saying, "Hey, no trespassing here"? But there's a thing here. I could just walk over top of it and walk up here. It's got a little bit of gravel here. I've never been up here, and I wonder what's at the top. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't look like a driveway that people routinely drive up. But anyway, would I do it again? The answer is yes. What would I do differently? Probably 2 weeks instead of 3. And I'd probably make it potentially less of a working retreat and more of a unplug retreat. So at least one of the weeks, I would make sure to have no scheduled calls and no expectations of myself of doing anything. Oh my goodness, this is a climb. This is fun though. I'm halfway up this hill, and kind you never really, I don't think you ever really get a perspective. Like, that doesn't look like that's far down in the video, but it's further down than it looks on video. Ah. So yeah, I think those are the changes that I'd make, and enjoying the time. Thank you so much. All right. Nelson says, Cliff, it's been 5 years or more since I was listening to your show. Found you again by chance today. See, this is exactly why I'm doing these live streams. For this exact reason. Nelson, thank you for your comment already. All right. Hope to learn more through your upcoming live streams. Once a week will be great. Thumbs up. Nelson, thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate your comment. And if anybody else is watching, feel free to comment. I'll tell you what, Lou, if you are watching, or Nelson, if you are watching, if either of you could just post another comment so I can see if it will automatically scroll up, that would be awesome. I think it's going to be about 30 seconds before you guys hear me say that. So I'm going to continue to walk up here, and I will see if a comment pops up underneath Nelson's comment when I get to the top up here, or as I'm walking up. Now, as I walk up here, this is much more pronounced and cleared out than it was at the bottom. Again, I don't know if there's a house up here that's been built. And sure enough, it looks like there's a house up here. Or what is that? Actually, this may be the house that is that the house that's at the end of our street. I think it might be. So I really don't want to go any further. That's somebody else's home. So I will climb back down. Okay, so here we go. Lou says, I like the idea of the 2 weeks, one refresh and one to create. Lou says, and don't get short of trespassing. Oh, don't get shot for trespassing. Careful. And Nelson says, and yes, I watched your response to my comment just a couple of minutes ago. Yeah, exactly. All right. So yeah, this is somebody. Now, if this was just property that somebody purchased a couple of many years ago, and they put down all of this gravel, and then it's just been sitting here vacant ever since then with that little rope, because there's certain, whoever lives there. Oh, hold on, let me turn that off. By the way, if anybody else wants to comment, the good news is the comments are rolling up automatically, so I will see them as they come in. Feel free to comment. I still haven't seen, I've seen and confirmed YouTube comments, Facebook content comments. Haven't seen a LinkedIn comment yet. So if you're, oh, Phil Quinlan says, he says, I'm booking my retreat now. One wonderful idea and live stream. Thank you so much, Phil. It's been good to connect with you. You've been somebody that I've been having back and forth conversation with. So I appreciate you. I think I sent you a message today. I don't know if I sent you a direct message with a question about inviting you to a connect conversation or anything like that. But if not, you're on my invite list. And if you don't see anything from me, feel free to direct message me or email me. I'd love to have a conversation. By the way, going back to what I was originally talking about, what I would never have done had I not. So it's this idea. I was going to do these connect calls. I'm just going to say 30-minute connect calls, because that's what I'm going to schedule them as, is 30-minute calls. So I had originally, the idea was to do these connect calls with people by invitation only, and that I would be in the same environment I would be in any other normal thing. However, when I reached out to the guys individually in the green room mastermind, I just invited them because of my internet access situation. I said, hey, let's do a FaceTime call because on my phone, I have unlimited data. I'm currently over 50 gigabytes, and technically speaking, T-Mobile has informed me you're over your 50 gigabytes. And when you go over 50 gigabytes, you still have unlimited data, but we may limit your speeds in congested areas. Well, I am not in a congested area. So even though that, I'm still streaming live HD 1080p video to you. I can't hotspot it right now because I'm over my 5 gig limit. But because of this, I'm like, I can still do FaceTime calls. I could still do Zoom meetings off of my phone. While not preferable for a group experience, I still believe I can see everybody just fine. I'm pretty sure a couple years ago I did a Zoom call with multiple people on it from my phone, and I was still able to see the multiple blocks of people. Hopefully that's still the case. And yeah, but anyway, so I had 2 days ago, or on Sunday, I had a FaceTime conversation for an hour and 17 minutes with Ray Edwards. And then later that afternoon, I had a FaceTime call with Michael Stelzner, both of these guys in my green room mastermind. And that was an hour and 7 minutes. Both of those, by the way, inside the house, but streaming from, doing the FaceTime calls from my phone. And of course, also with the vertical video aspect of doing that. But then yesterday, which I think yesterday was Monday. Yep, yesterday was Monday. Yesterday, I had I think it was a 54-minute FaceTime call with Mark Mason. And I said, hey, Mark, I haven't done my workout today. I had so many creative ideas this morning that I just been flowing with creating processes and things like that. Hey, do you mind if I'm walking during our FaceTime call? He goes, dude, that's amazing. That's fine. So I did my FaceTime call with Mark Mason yesterday while out walking like this, only again, vertical video format instead of this way. And that hour flew by. I got all of this exercise in. I burned more calories than I would have on the treadmill down here. I had that conversation and a connection. And I'm like, when I got back, it's like, oh, okay. When I get back home and I have perfect internet connection and I could do all of this stuff with the super amazing gear and environments that I have that look beautiful in the background, will I do that for my coaching calls and my mastermind calls and my group coaching programs? Yes, I will still use all of that when I get back home. But my connect calls are going to be personal, like that personal flair, like this. Let's go out for a walk together. Join me for a walk. Even when I go back, not if, even if I go back, even when I go back and I have already done my morning workout at the gym, if it is not tolerable outside, then I will let people know that when we have these connect conversations, I'm going to be out for a walk. And if you want to be out for a walk too, and you have good internet access, by all means. This is not a official coaching environment, a coaching call. This is just you and I connecting. And I've already determined that if it's not that, I'll be sitting in a couch, just laid back, or sitting in the front seat of my car, just anything other than what I had originally thought those connect calls. And that started opening the floodgates of, oh my gosh, I could start. I don't have to watch a show on Netflix to entertain me inside of the dark room with no windows here at the lake house. I could get my workouts in and I could go and have these connect calls outside. That was like, yeah, okay. I'm taking this idea back with me. By the way, where where was that? I don't. Oh, okay. So here's okay. I had to get my bearing. That right there was that road that I had gone up just a little bit ago, and there's another house up top there. Don't really think you have a good feel over here. I would show you around. I went to a completely different place back here. See that to me that right there does not look impressive at all as far as how tall that hill is or whatever. It's tall. I don't does it look any more if I go this way? Let me go to camera. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Let's go to here and hit settings. Ooh, camera. And it's got front camera. So let's go to um there's a back camera ultra wide. There we go. Does that look any more tall to you? Does it give you any more feel of this place where I'm at? I have no idea. So, and yeah, that's the ultra wide camera. Let's go to just the back camera. This is just what they label as the back camera. Of course, this would probably cut down on a lot of shakiness if I did things and I just walked like this. Oh, sorry about that. I probably just made you sick. But this is probably a lot less shaky than the front camera because the front camera doesn't have built-in stabilization. I think I'm doing, yeah, that's mirrored. I just recognize that that's mirrored. Although I have the ability to do it this way. So now it actually looks the way I see it. But I am going to mirror my camera. Whew, freezing cold fingers here. Front camera. And let me close that. I'm back. No new comments. Still nobody's commented, or actually, that may not be true. There may be lots of comments on LinkedIn, but no comments from LinkedIn have come through here. Anyway, that's what I'm up to. I am super excited about all of the possibilities. There's so much creativity. I have talked recently about the fact that I started reading the book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Still feel like I'm relatively into the intro. I haven't got into the meat of the book yet. As soon as it gets time for me to start reading, it's like I read a couple of paragraphs and then I'm so inspired to go do something. I'm like, okay, that was amazing. I've already done this. But one of the things that, even though I haven't yet read the book's description of morning pages, I've heard so much about morning pages over the year. I have been an avid journaler for more than a decade. And I have done stream of consciousness journaling for many years at many different times, but I'd never consistently made. Now, this one says private property, and that one goes down there. But because it says private property, I won't walk down there to see what it looks like because it's posted. Anyway, it looks like it just goes to somebody's boat dock. Unless, oh, okay. So I think their house is over there. And I think that takes them down to their boat dock down there. Anyway. Oh, there we go. LinkedIn comment here. Lou Hornberger, you rock. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. LinkedIn does work here. Okay. So my thinking right now is, even though I have access to this unbelievably, ridiculously low cost Ecamm Live subscription, the fact that I can actually just right from my phone do live streams from the Safari browser and get comments from all three platforms, whereas on Ecamm I do not get linked. I think I might actually sign up again for StreamYard. Now you might be thinking, well, Cliff, if you're not signed up for StreamYard and you're using StreamYard right now to test all this out, How is that possible? Well, it's because right about an hour before I scheduled this live stream and came out here, I did go into StreamYard to see what was the pricing again, and maybe I'll sign up for a month on a monthly plan, and then make a decision after that. How frequently am I using it? And I'll just pay for it month to month. And I think it's like the advanced plan, which is what I'm using right now, which I think the advanced plan allows you to do 4K. And I think the middle plan, or I think it's called the professional plan, allows you to do 1080p. I don't think I'd ever stream anything more than 1080p right now. But this advanced plan is, I think, $89 a month if you pay monthly. And so I went in to check it out, and they had, because I was a member in the past, I still have an account. It's just I had downgraded to a free account after I wasn't streaming every week like I once was. I actually logged in today to look things up, and it's like, hey, would you like a 1 week free trial of the advanced plan? And I'm like, and then it says no credit card required, or no commitment required. Cancel anytime. It didn't say no credit card. It just said no commitment. And they already have my credit card on file. But I'm like, tell me more. And sure enough, they gave me a 1 week free trial. And I'm like, okay, let's do that. So I went ahead and set it up, and I am using their advanced plan, and I'm here streaming from my phone, with the fact that I've definitely already gone. I think I don't know who that would be. Let's see, she's driving a Jeep on the opposite steering wheels on the opposite side of the road, but she does not look like she's stopping to put any mail anywhere. So I don't know. It might be imported from another country. Anyway, so I'm on the free plan, and Tuesday, let's see, today's Tuesday. So next Tuesday is when they would bill me for the monthly fee on it. And I just put a note to myself, do I want to keep this beyond the week that they've given me for free? And if I may choose to keep it and just do it month by month, see how frequently I stay committed to doing these live streams, and just take it from there. But I'm convinced right now that I actually do prefer StreamYard over Ecamm Live, simply because I can do it from my phone. Don't get me wrong, Ecamm Live is amazing. I just want to say that. And if I were streaming from my computer, my Mac laptop or whatever, and I had super high speed, unlimited access everywhere I went and all that stuff, yeah, that'd be amazing. Would I be able to do what I'm doing right here, right now? As far as I know, unless somebody from Ecamm Live, and I've got friends from Ecamm Live, you know who you are. Can I do this from Ecamm Live? And by the way, is there ever going to be a day you can figure out whatever StreamYard figured out to get LinkedIn comments? I mean, come on. It's been how long now? Anyway, man, it's crazy that it feels good out here. But it's the endorphins, it's the dopamine, it's the knowing that there's somebody out there. And when I didn't have anybody on the schedule today at 11 o'clock, I'm like, you know what? Let's go see if that StreamYard's available. Let's see if we can't test it out. Let's do this. And that's why I'm here. So excited. All right. I have been going for 44 minutes. I think I'm going to end it here. I hope that you are enjoying your new year. I hope, like Phil Quinlan, I've inspired you to consider your own personal, creative, reflective, and who knows, maybe even working retreat. I'm enjoying my time down here. Let's see, Thursday will be the beginning of week 3. And then I go back home the following Thursday after that. Thankfully, I missed the weather, all of the ice. We got ice down here, and it lasted for a couple of hours, and wouldn't be anything you'd want to drive on down here overnight whenever that came through on Sunday. But by Monday afternoon, it was warmed up above freezing temperatures. It all melted away, and the ground's perfectly dry here. Back at home, Stephanie, I think they got 12 to 14 inches of snow, and somewhere inside of that is like a tenth of an inch of ice or more packed in there somewhere. And level 2 snow emergencies, urging people to stay off the roads. And I think another storm is supposed to come through later this week, could potentially hit here. A little bit of snow. I will just park my car at the top of the driveway like I did the other day, just in case, because there's no getting out of the driveway we have down here if there's snow on it. I could easily drive on the roads. I have no problem at all with snow. Driving on ice, no deal for me. Anyway, I'm having a great time. I hope you're having a great start to your new year. And if you've watched any portion of this and you haven't commented, if you're watching this later, feel free to send me a direct message and let me know that you enjoyed the fact that I was out here doing something like this. It will encourage me to stay committed to doing more of these. Special thank you to Marco, to Lou, Nelson, and Phil for commenting. I genuinely appreciate the comments. I appreciate those of you who clicked the thumbs up like button. I appreciate those of you who have clicked that little heart icon. I see you. You may not have commented, but I see your hearts. I see your likes, and it just lets me know that you're out there. And until next time, I encourage you to take everything you do to the next level.